saw something. There's this guy who is selling a Sega Genesis, and the cartridge in the Sega says "Fix It Felix," and I was like, "That's not a real game, is it?" and so I Googled it, and I was like, "Am I just like super naive, and I never knew that was a real thing?"
Like some Mandela effect.
Yeah, but it is not a real thing.
Okay.
It is. They do sell Fix It Felix Jr. games now based on that movie, but it's also, I mean, it's all like fan made.
Sure.
They don't actually exist.
Would it be weird if I'd been like, yeah, Dustin, even I played Fix It Felix when I was a grade schooler.
I'd be like, I have no knowledge of this.
I went to Mr. Litwack's arcade. It's a real place.
I had a weird experience one time. I got sucked into the internet.
It's in Birmingham. At the Galleria.
Yeah.
I've had a few of those recently where I've been like, something will happen and I'll just sit back and go, wait a minute, was that a real thing?
Yeah. Am I nuts?
Yeah. I've been saying it for like a couple of years now on the show, but I keep saying it's happening.
It's happening.
I think it's happened.
Well, that's fine.
I've crossed over. I'm somewhere different. I'm wearing these glasses more and more.
Sure.
You know what I was doing last night?
What's that?
I was sitting.
Sudoku.
I was sitting over there in like my corner chair, like this chair I never sit in, but it's like a corner chair.
Right.
Not my couch, not my desk, not my kitchen. Corner chair with a lamp. I had a tower fan pointed at me, blowing air on me. This at night, and I was reading a book and drinking this decaf coffee. And I couldn't have been happier.
Yeah.
It was the best thing ever.
You've crossed the threshold at this point.
I'm old now. And I'm kind of loving it. I remember thinking like, this is all I want to do right now. And I read like 150 pages. That was crazy. Nice. Yeah, I was there for hours. Yep. Amazing. I only got up to refill the mug.
And pee 17 times.
Yeah. No, I held it because.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good book.
The kind of book you don't stop to pee during. A no pee book. If I were to rate it on a scale of
pee to don't pee,
1 pee to 5 peas. 0 peas.
0 peas.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty good stuff. All right. Well, hi everyone. This is the Hoopercast. It's still for now. It's still the Hoopercast.
At this moment,
they're still letting us do this.
Who?
The liberals.
Who would prevent us from this? At this point, we've angered the wokes and the not wokes.
Yeah. We're here tonight to talk about a couple of movies that have to do with the word empire. And that's the only reason I grouped them together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even make that connection.
Yep. Well,
okay.
That's why I'm on this mic and you're on that mic, Dustin. All right, let's start with the one that I think is more positive. I've been trying to front load the show lately with stuff that with the more positive recommendations, so that people / everyone who probably / definitely doesn't listen to the whole show.
Yep.
will get what they need.
Right. So people don't think we're just grumps.
Yeah. So
which I am, but
let's begin with Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
I've been waiting 40 years for this. They called themselves Ghostbusters. According to these hacks, they saved the world. No eyewitnesses. And who is found to carry the torch? Descendants of Egon Spengler. You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
It has a proton pack.
It's completely safe.
I wouldn't say completely safe.
The Ghostbusters are finished. Right, well, overruled.
Sustained.
Thank you.
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
What is it?
Better question is, what's inside of it?
The parables tell of an unimaginable evil commanding an army of ghosts. With the power to kill by fear itself.
Like, literally scared to death?
We might be looking at a second ice age.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
Can I be of any help? Melnitz in uniform! Yes!
If there's something strange, if there's something weird, what are people gonna call?
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else? What? Buster makes me feel good. It makes me feel good.
Heads up! Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
So I haven't seen either of these films tonight. This is all you, Dustin. So
Okay. It's my empire tonight.
it's your empire. I'm Frozen,
Okay.
and you're the Emperor.
Julius Caesar.
Sure.
I
I don't think you want to be any one of those. Hey, to Oh, that should be the title. Forget the one I picked. That's better. Hey, to Hoope.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This released last year. No, this year. It released this year.
Wow.
Back in March. And this is directed by Gil Kenan. And stars, and it was also written by Gil Kenan and Jason Reitman.
Oh.
And then stars Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, Kumail Nanjiani, Patton Oswalt, and also Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts. And so this is the new Ghostbusters film. I am going to go ahead and warn everybody. I like the first Ghostbusters. Never seen Ghostbusters 2. I did not care much for Afterlife. Was that the name of the last one?
Yes.
Whatever about it, but like Frozen Empire, I said it's fine. So I gave this 3 stars. I actually kind of enjoyed myself while watching this, which was strange. Like I was just like, okay, I'm along for the ride. Sure. Was it funny? No. A couple laughs. Was it stupid? Borderline, but it was fine, and like I had a decent time watching it. The premise: there is a guy, Kumail Nanjiani, who has in his possession a relic. An ancient relic that he received from his recently deceased grandmother. And he takes it to Dan Aykroyd to try to pawn it because Dan Aykroyd runs a shop where he just buys old things that
Oddities.
Presumably are haunted or supernatural in some way. And he sells this thing. And
did they film it real Dan Aykroyd's house?
I'm sure they probably did. This is Dan Aykroyd's real business. This is just a commercial.
The product placement is Dan Aykroyd's company.
Is Dan Aykroyd. That's it. So simultaneously, McKenna Grace and her family have moved into the old firehouse from wherever they were in the last one, in the Midwest somewhere. Stranger thinging it up, and now they're out in New York.
Big culture shock.
Okay, so they're in New York. They're doing the thing. They're
because
driving
every Midwesterner
Ecto-1,
wants to move to the city.
wants to move to New York, and so they do, and they're Ghostbusters. But the mayor is like, "Yo, you can't have a Ghostbuster who's a minor." And they're like, "Oh yeah, that's true." So they tell McKenna Grace like, "You can't be a Ghostbuster anymore." So she's like, "Oh darn, what am I gonna do now?" So that's her thing. Finn Wolfhard is like, hey, I'm 18, so I'm an adult now. And they're like, cool, well then be one. And he's like, oh, cool, I'm going to struggle with that. And then, and his storyline is literally, I guarantee you he was on set for like a week and a half. And his whole storyline is trying to catch one ghost that's in the firehouse to prove he's a man. And then Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd are taking up the mantle of the Ghostbusters, and doing that whole thing. But their ghost trapper is full, and so they were like, Ghostbusters never thought about what would happen when this thing got full. But wouldn't you know it, Ernie Hudson has secretly started a company where they study ghosts and they have big ghost traps, and they're yay. And so he invites the new Ghostbusters to his headquarters, where they take the object that Dan Aykroyd bought from Kumail. This is confusing. Bought from Kumail Nanjiani, and it starts to come alive and starts to turn everything into ice. And so there you go. And meanwhile, I guess the biggest story of the family is that McKenna Grace begins to fall in love with / friendship with a ghost. And there you go. So that's Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. That's a lot of things that are happening. It's like they jam-packed this thing full of plot, and it's what is it, an hour and 55 minutes. So it's like it moves so fast, and it's like breakneck speed, but it's fine. And like the plot makes enough sense. It's easy enough to follow. You can just kind of veg out and watch it, which is cool. And, easy watch. And, yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. The actors all do a fine job, and they do their thing. It's nice to see the original Ghostbusters back for more than just a glorified cameo. Like they actually figure into the plot, which is nice. And even Bill Murray, who has the smallest role of all the Ghostbusters, kind of expectedly, he is back, and he seems to not be hating himself. But like part of that character is just like that, deadpan, wise guy kind of thing. So it kind of works. Even if he was hating himself, it'd probably be fine. Yeah, man, it's fine. The movie's fine. It's 3 stars. It's not gonna knock your socks off, but it's not gonna make you mad. I don't really have much to say about this. Like it just exists. Do I think that we need more Ghostbusters movies? No. Do I think that we ever needed anything more than one Ghostbusters movie? No. Would I watch another Ghostbusters movie if it was free? That's where I'm at with this franchise. I like a lot of what they're going for. They just need better execution. And tonally, it's a little weird because like this is part like it's a comedy, but it's also trying to fill the void of like superhero spectacle, which is weird. And then on top of that, it's also like at times actually a little bit spooky. So I'm like, are they going for something that's like horror comedy, but they never really go horror? You know what I mean? Like, I wish they would just pick something. Like the original Ghostbusters was just a comedy. There wasn't really anything spooky about it. And this, and it certainly wasn't an action spectacle.
Yeah, epic.
So I kind of feel like with Ghostbusters, it works best when it's just a straight comedy and the stakes are actually kind of like, obviously in the original, there's the giant, Marshmallow Man. So it's not like the stakes are small, but like it feels small. Like it still feels like, it's just like some guys doing a thing. And that to me is a better fit for the Ghostbusters than this big, like, we've got chase scenes and there's huge, gigantic space lasers and whatever else. It's just like, that's a little bit much. But, I think I think all in all, like, this is not a bad movie. It's just not a particularly great movie. So it just kind of exists in this weird thing where it doesn't really prove the worth of its existence, but it's undeniably kind of cool to see the original Ghostbusters back. It also just makes me kind of wish it was just them. So I don't know, like, it almost feels like at this point, either you've got to revert back to being just them and it's just a comedy, a bunch of these old guys, or you allow them to finally like pass the torch. Like they need like a moment where they're like, we're done with this on screen. Here you go. And the, and the new family, they get to do the ghost busting from now on, but they've got to, I think they've got to do the character work that the Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters did. I feel like you can go back to the original Ghostbusters crew and let them do it, or they need to do an on-screen like passing of the torch and let the new family take the Ghostbusters reins and just like make a clean break. But the main thing that I think they need to do is retain that tone and that sensibility from the first movie, which is like an irreverent comedy, and just let it be that, because that's where this concept thrives. When you start taking it too seriously and like, oh, the ghosts, they're really spooky and they're going to kill everybody, then it starts to feel a little like you're going too far. Like the whole point is like, this is a hokey kind of campy premise. We don't need the stakes to be really realistic and like, oh no, real people are going to die. It just needs to be like, you know, I'm a giant and I crushed some cars and but all that said, I mean, this is a step closer in the right direction. Afterlife was not great, but it was like the reboot that they thought we wanted. But the problem is like it eschewed like all the stuff that we associate with the Ghostbusters, like most especially New York. It'd be like making a Spider-Man movie where he's not in New York, which I now realize when I say that is what Far From Home is. But and really that whole entire trilogy. But yeah, I mean, it's like we want to see them in New York. We want to see them interacting with people who kind of think they're lunatics, and kind of like Bill Murray thinks they're lunatics too, but he's along for the ride, and because there's money to be made. Like that's way more intriguing to me than whatever this is, whatever Afterlife was, which was like pure nostalgia. So that's where I'd want to see it go. But this isn't a bad way to spend your time. And like I said, it is a step in the right direction. So, but yeah, man, that's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
I haven't seen any of the Ghostbusters movies.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
The truth is, if you don't see them at that formidable time, I don't think it's really like, I don't think you're missing much.
I remember telling John this and he was like, I mean, Ghostbusters is good, but two is just okay. I don't know. Didn't really like two that much. And so I never put a premium on seeing it, and just, it's one of those things that I've just absorbed through cultural osmosis. And so now I've just yet to actually watch the film start to finish.
Yeah.
But it feels like an unnecessary box to check. And so it's just in those blind spots I have that it's just, I've gotten by in life pretty well without seeing Ghostbusters. So
yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's not, life changing, but it's fine. And it's I know it was important to the kids at that time.
Well, and like, it's one of those things that can't really be enjoyed in reverse. Like when you're surrounded and you grow up in a culture where everyone's making, like, think about it, like the only time I heard people joking about like proton packs and stuff was like Judd Apatow movies and like Seth Rogen, people referencing Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And now an actor from those films, Paul Rudd, is in the latest Ghostbusters movie. And it's all like now we're like making more movies for them. And so it's like, at this point, if I'm sitting here going, okay, I haven't seen that first film, but I'm so deep into an awareness of it that I feel like if I go back and watch it, I feel like I'm intruding. I feel like I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be. Like I'm watching a film that I already missed. It's too late.
I was just say it can't offer you anything at this point. Like you know all the things, and that's it. I mean, but again, like even judging it just as a movie, apart from when you're viewing this, what your age is, or what decade you're currently residing in, it's an okay movie. And I know a lot of people will hate me for that because, again, those 80s kids are like, "This is the best movie that's ever been made." Sure, like, cool.
Whatever you say, bud.
Sure, take it. That's fine. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's just not as life-changing as people make it seem. Like, all the 70s kids are like, Star Wars. And all the 80s kids are like, Ghostbusters. I don't know what us 90s kids are into.
Small Soldiers.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Small Soldiers in every episode. Just
okay. That's the cameo in every episode.
Yeah, that's my director's signatures. Small Soldiers.
Small Soldiers.
The Gorgonites.
So anyway, okay.
Yeah. Where'd you see this again?
It's on Netflix.
Of course it is.
Yeah, so you can check it out if you have Netflix. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Godzilla. Is this Godzilla X Kong?
Nobody knows, so nobody talks about it. I spent so long like Googling other people's reviews, and no one says the title. I think it's for this reason.
Godzilla X Kong, because it's not really Godzilla versus King Kong, but it's not Godzilla and King. Why don't you say Godzilla and Kong?
How about you just don't make this movie?
Goku.
Goku.
Kogo.
Yeah.
Godco.
Kongzilla.
We've discovered a signal. She can feel it. Kong, Godzilla, they can feel it too. Something is coming. Something even they're afraid of.
You feel like going for a ride?
Thought you'd never ask.
Try not to swallow your tongue.
What?
Oh my God! Is that a mini Kong?
Oh my God.
That's not just a signal. That's a call for war. What is that?
Kong can't stop this on his own.
He won't be alone.
The last time those two met up, it was almost the end of Kong.
They don't have to like each other. They just have to work together.
Now I have seen everything.
We've made some minor augmentations.
Oh.
Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's the thing. We already talked about why the X doesn't make sense. I don't know what the New Empire means. I've seen this movie. There's no new empire ushered in. I don't understand.
Yeah, is it just the Hollow Earth stuff?
I guess. So okay, all right. So let's talk about this. How many of these MonsterVerse movies have you seen?
I don't even know which ones count. Let me see. What's in this?
It's Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, and Godzilla X Kong, and the TV series Monarch.
Hold on, let me click on. All right, let me see. I saw 2014 Godzilla. I saw Skull Island. Did I see King of the Monsters?
Has Vera Farmiga and Kyle Chandler.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. Sure.
It's confusing.
Fair.
I don't think I saw Godzilla versus Kong. Is that the one? Wait, what happens at the end of that one? Is that the one with Ghidorah?
No, that's the King of Monsters. Wait, is it?
Hold on.
Yes, because
Mecha Godzilla. That's what I'm talking about.
Godzilla.
Okay,
Godzilla
I
versus
did
Kong.
see
Yes.
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I've seen most of these. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've seen all of them. I don't like them. I don't know why I keep doing this. Because they're easily accessible and whatever. Giant lizard, yay. For me, I don't know why I keep watching these. I don't like these movies. Godzilla X Kong is largely Kong's story. So the idea being here that he, the film opens and he's in Hollow Earth and he's alone. There's no other monkeys. And so he's just himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I'm sad. And then like a little monkey shows up and he's like, oh, hey, little monkey, you can be my pal. But the little monkey's a little bit of a miscreant. And so it leads him on this like follow me, Big Kong. And so Big Kong's like, okay, little Kong. And so they start going back on the surface world. Rebecca Hall, who's doing her best to keep the series afloat, and her adopted daughter are having issues because the daughter is seeing visions of something and is like, I have to go to Hollow Earth. And then Kong is like, I'm in Hollow Earth. And so they're going to go to Hollow Earth. And so they go to Hollow Earth and they find a secret society of like a culture. It's the culture of the people from Skull Island, but they are originally from the Hollow Earth. So they find all the humans in Hollow Earth, and they speak telepathically to each other.
Oh, cool.
Because they're like advanced.
Yeah.
And so they're the ones that have been sending the visions to the girl. There's a lot of spoilers in what I'm saying. I don't care.
But just a side note, why is there always an advanced civilization that decides like, you know what, fuck everyone, we're just going to keep we're just going to be advanced. We're going to be advanced and we're not going to share it with anybody. We're not going to save the planet or anything.
But maybe advanced is the wrong word because they don't have any technology other than crystals. Magic
are cool.
Crystals. Sure.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're out there driving like flying cars and stuff and like, we have a cure for cancer.
This is so amazing. Too bad you don't live in the Hollow Earth.
Yeah. So
Hollow Earth and a hollow moral compass
story. Oh, yes. So the little girls go in there. Big Kong and Little Kong go to a place and there's a whole bunch of other Kongs. And then Kong is like, hey, monkey friends. But then the monkey friends are led by an evil monkey named Scar King. And Scar King
pretty awesome.
Is like, yo, I'm the Scar King and you all do what I say. And if you don't, I'll kill you. And so he fights King Kong and then freezes his hand. And then Kong has to go to the surface to retreat. And he does. Oh, wait, maybe it's not even on the surface. I can't remember, but they give him a mechanical glove to treat his wound. And I guess this mechanical glove treats frostbite and also powers him up. And then the Scar King is like, yo, I'm going to the surface because now he can do that for some reason. but he couldn't before. So I forget why. And so they are going to go to the surface. But then Kong is like, yo, but I can't defeat Scar King alone. I got to have help. And that's where Godzilla comes in. And this whole time, Godzilla's just been swimming around, and he knows, because he's the king of monsters, I guess, that a fight's coming. So he's going around to like nuclear power plants and absorbing all of the energy. And he's going to like fight this other kaiju who has a bunch of energy, and he fights him and sucks up his energy. So now Godzilla is all powered up, Super Saiyan, and so Godzilla and Kong have to fight Scar King. That's the movie. I'm just so confused because the Hollow Earth thing is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
I was just looking at it. It's a real theory.
It's a real theory.
Like, it's been around for centuries.
Yeah, and it's real stupid. I don't understand how it works. I don't understand why there's creatures there and people. I don't understand this. And they have portals that will take you back to the surface, but you have to go through a portal. Like, you couldn't just like burrow your way down there, obviously. So you have to go through a portal, but the portal like spits you out in seconds, which must means it's traveling so fast. How? Or like,
is this place even in the middle of the earth, or is it just another dimension? And we're just gonna, because we're traveling into the ground, we just call it Hollow Earth because logically we're traveling to the core. This is all, I mean, I know that we're trying to apply,
put more thought into it than the writers.
Yeah, we're trying to apply science to a film where there's a giant gorilla and a mecha glove that cures frostbite and a giant dinosaur with nuclear breath. I guess I'm talking to people in the 1700s now. I'm sending the podcast back through time. Like, why did you think this? But it's like in the thing, it was like, there's people today who still believe in Hollow Earth. And it's like, oh, that's so sad. Like, I'm not even a scientist, and I can tell you, like, okay, what about all the magma?
What if you were a flat earther and a hollow earther?
Is that so? Do you think the Earth is like
it's a donut?
It's like when you cut a bagel in half, but you go too low, you're off center, so the bottom is super flat,
super thin. Yes, that's what it is. It's a pepperoni slice with a hole in the middle.
The Earth is just one of Saturn's rings.
That's right. Yes, exactly. I don't understand. Like, there's just nothing here. Like, look, we've talked about Godzilla -1 and the fact that it offers good human characters that anchor your story about monsters or a monster. And that makes that's what you have to do, right? Because you have two choices. Either your monster is your protagonist or the people are. And I guess they've never really figured out how to make Godzilla the protagonist of a film. So they rely on people. But the problem is, like, even if you go back to the first of the MonsterVerse, that 2014 Godzilla, the problem that everybody was saying is, like, why are we following these boring human characters? Your Aaron Taylor Johnsons and whatnot. Like, I don't understand why I'm following this person. They're not interesting enough. Just show me the Godzilla. That's all I want to see. But you can't just show Godzilla because he can't be a protagonist. So that means you have to create interesting characters that people want to watch and are treated to Godzilla, as opposed to like just counting down the moments until Godzilla shows up again. And that's what I think -1 did, was it was like, hey, don't you care for these characters? And you're like, yes. Oh, also there's something cool to see every so often. Oh, great. I like that. This takes the other approach, which is that the only thing that matters is giant monkey running with glove and nothing else matters. You have the mother-daughter story of Rebecca Hall and the daughter, but it's not important enough or fleshed out enough. And I don't care, frankly. So it doesn't, It doesn't register. Like those things, it's lost on me. I don't care. And then this movie introduces a couple of a new character, and there's a character returning from Godzilla vs. Kong. Both of whom are either completely ignorable or completely annoying. And so there's no reason for me to care about them. And like, you have to have something dramatic and something with weight and a reason to care. And that's why Godzilla, like, maybe this is a hot take, but I don't think so. Like, that's why Godzilla works best when the idea of Godzilla and these monsters, that they are a threat to our human existence. And that's a problem. The second you cross over into they are superheroes who are fighting other bigger, badder monsters, and yay, you saved the day, Godzilla, that's where you start to lose me, because now, like, what if the threat is, if the villain is King Ghidorah, what can a measly human do to be helpful in that fight? Not a lot. So like they just become nothing. They just become white noise. So for me, like, the problem with this film, as with most of these MonsterVerse films, is that the human characters don't capture my attention. And so all you have left are the monsters, but the monsters themselves inherently are not interesting. Kong is the one character, the one kaiju who has like some sense of character. And like, that was always the case. Like, going back to the 30s, Kong is a sensitive soul who, loved Anne and like, whatever, cool. But in this, there's not enough, other than Kong, there's not enough from those monsters for me to care about them. And then there's a lot of things that bother me with those monsters. One, they move too fast, and I lose their sense of scale when they move that fast. Two, they're doing very human things. Like, there's a moment where Godzilla and Kong are fighting when they first see each other again. They're like, "Hey, you!" and they try to fight. And like, Godzilla's running for Kong, and Kong like grabs him. No, or it's the other way around. I don't remember. I think it may be the other way around because it's more ridiculous. And Godzilla grabs Kong and does like a WWF like wrestling backflip to like pin him. And I'm like, this is a lizard. Like, he can't move like a human. You can't do that. And so stuff like that bothers me. In the Hollow Earth,
they've got WWE Raw on the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, they're huge fans of John Cena.
Yeah.
And it's so weird in the Hollow Earth, because it's all animated. Like, in those sequences, it's an animated film.
Yeah.
And so in those moments, because it's just giant character talking to giant character in a giant world, you lose all sense of scale. These might as well be normal sized gorillas, because there's nothing like, if you put it's so shocking to me that, so like, you get used to seeing them. They're all around the same size. Everything around them is also giant size, so it doesn't really register.
Yeah.
And then they go through the portal, and they're beside the pyramids, or they're beside like a skyscraper, and they're huge. And I'm like, I forgot how big they were, because I'm now used to seeing them all be the same size.
Yeah.
As everything else around them. So, like, if you're coming to watch giant things destroy smaller things, you don't even get that, because the sense of scale is completely lost, and the fact that they move so fast ruins that.
Do you think that's just like the filmmakers going like, I really don't want to have to keep track of how big they are in the Hollow Earth?
It could be, like honestly, it absolutely could be. And
let's just make the trees gigantic too.
Exactly.
And if you ever put a person next to it, it would be immeasurably thick.
Yes. Yes, exactly. yeah, it's insane. It does not track well in terms of scale.
Just the sound wave of one of those trees falling would cut a human being in half. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Gone. There's that. The other thing that bothers me is the mechanical glove. Like, first of all, it's a giant monkey.
The power glove.
He does not need a power glove. Two, there's a moment in the film where he's like, I think he's punching Godzilla or he's punching something. And like, he's punching it with the glove and you see the glove, like, it's whirring and it's like, and then there's a moment where it like really powers up and he like draws his fist back and it shows like these rockets that pop out and they fire. So you've got flames coming out or whatever. And it's like to make his arm go a lot faster, I guess. I don't know how this actually helps because you would still be limited by how fast your arm can move. Just because you put a rocket on your arm doesn't mean your arm moves faster.
Not to mention, if the rockets are great and they pull your arm before they're ready, you're just going to like break your shoulder.
Correct. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense. And so then he's punching him with the rockets, but I'm like, but here's the other question. One, how is the monkey activating the rockets? I can buy that Tony Stark with his intellect is telling Jarvis to activate rockets.
Yeah.
How is the monkey activating the rockets? And I understand that he's a smart monkey. But do you realize how smart you have to be to put on a glove that has features like that and then use it?
Yeah. You're just a big ape who grew up in a hollow earth. You're not like, this isn't Planet of the Apes where you might know how to use a machine. All you know are giant trees and crystals.
Right. And this is the same with Godzilla. Like, Godzilla's so smart in this. Like, they're able to understand complex things. And I'm just like, see, it makes way more sense and it's way more frightening when it's just a beast. Like, he's just an animal.
Yeah.
Like, you can't reason with him.
Yeah.
He's just going off his instinct. And that's why it kind of like, I can kind of buy when they're like, he can sense a fight is coming. So he's going to go store up energy. Fine.
Yeah.
His monster instincts are telling him that, but it's not him like, I see the chess moves that these other kaiju are playing with me. I'm going to go power myself up to combat them and be ready for He's not doing this.
I shall make my egress.
Yeah, right. I can't buy the idea that Godzilla is tactical enough to know that he needs a strategy in a fight. Like, he's a lizard. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen lizards in my life, and not one of them has ever formulated a plan and executed a plan. So how smart are these things? These are the kinds of things that bother me. It's way easier for me to wrap my head around the idea of Godzilla -1. This is a monster. He's a giant animal who works on instinct. He sees train moving in front of him. He destroys train because I don't know what that is. I will destroy you. The same way that a dog sees a remote control car driving by and destroys the remote control car because I can't comprehend what this is. Sure. But like, so stuff like that bothers me. But really it was when he's like using the mechanical glove with tactical prowess that I'm like, I can't buy this anymore. Plus, somebody built him a glove. Do you realize how big that has to be? His arms are as big as skyscrapers.
It's expensive.
And so the dude puts the thing on, but they also thought, this monkey might need rocket boosters on this glove.
Let's think of an expensive single-use feature in this thing. Yeah. That's it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, unless he knows how to reload the rockets, but then he has to carry like a bandolier like Chewbacca.
A bandolier of rockets. I wouldn't put it past it.
And he needs to be smart enough to reload. Like, oh, hold on. Reloading.
Reloading.
Cover me, Godzilla. Sure thing, buddy.
Godzilla's got a cigar.
No problem, bub.
They're just completely human at that point. This is like, it reminds me of that. I don't know if this was ever like true or what, but like before Jurassic World was created, there was this treatment going around that Jurassic 4 was going to be genetically altered dinosaurs that carried weapons. And I'm like, you lost me. And I'm pretty sure that was a real thing and not just like a weird internet rumor. I think that was a real thing. I've seen concept art from it. But yeah, I mean, that's essentially what this is. It's monkey gets Power Glove for no apparent reason. So yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. I also, hold on. Here's the other thing. Do you realize how strong that material has to be, that it wraps around a monkey's arm, Jet propels his fist into the side of a lizard that can withstand rockets and serious weaponry. Bombs can go off on the dude's back and he's fine. And yet you're telling me there's some metal on Earth that doesn't get even a scratch on it when that happens?
It doesn't bend. It's not pliable.
I just don't buy it. I just don't buy any of this.
It was made by Idri the dwarf.
Pretty much. Like you have to go the adamantium or vibranium route in order to make this make sense. And I don't know, man. And here's the last thing. Like, it's a lot of nitpicks, but like they add up, and then annoying characters and all of these weird, loopholes, and like I just can't suspend my disbelief that much. And then but then the film obviously culminates in a giant kaiju battle. And when I say I had to watch this 3 times, I'm not kidding. And it's not because it's good, and it's not because it's bad. And like, I need to rewatch and see how bad this is or laugh at it. It's because I fell asleep 3 times. And here's the thing. And this is what I said in my Letterboxd review. I'm a tired dude. But sometimes if I fall asleep during your 3rd act climax, maybe that's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I will take some of the blame. That first sleep, that's on me. The 2nd and 3rd sleep, that's on you.
Sleep me once, shame on me.
Sleep me once, sleep on me. Sleep me twice.
You can't sleep again.
Yeah, you can't sleep again. You can't get sleeped again. It's frustrating, dude, because I'm like, we've seen in the last year that this can be a very good movie. So it's really frustrating then for this to become as bad as it is.
That's what was funniest about when Godzilla -1 like had their trailer come out and everyone's like, man, this looks pretty good. Or the movie I can't remember the timeline. And then like really soon after, Warner Brothers is like, check out our trailer. We make Godzilla stuff too.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just a whiplash back to like, oh, these can be dumb still.
Yep. Again, like if you had just told a story about 2 giant forces of nature, 2 primal beasts that were battling it out, and the humans that are affected by that can be a great story. But you have to make the human characters interesting. And the giant animals are the high stake, antagonists of the film, essentially. And so that is not what happened here. So there you go. There's also like, this is just such a strange thing because it's one of those screenplays where like things just happen. Like the characters aren't necessarily making active choices. Yeah. It's just things happen to them and they just happen around them. And so it's just frustrating on every possible way. A lot of the visual effects are really good, but there are some visual effects in this that are not good. And when that happens, it's really jarring because the good stuff is so good. But it's almost like at this point, if part of the impetus for making these films is to showcase your visual effects, it kind of doesn't matter anymore because you're not showing me anything I haven't already seen. And you're also like, there's no, I don't know. I think obviously, I think sometimes we take visual effects for granted because they just are in everything and they're pretty much good across the board.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Flash movie. And, but they're good across the board. So we take them for granted. It's not enough to sell your film anymore.
No.
You can't just say, but look, you get to see something you've never seen before.
Yeah. I've seen all this though.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it a million times. And even if I hadn't seen another Godzilla or Kong movie, I've seen animals fight.
Well,
in CG.
And I've seen hidden worlds with perfect sunsets and sunrises and, you know, vistas and mountainscapes and stuff. Like I've fucking seen Avatar, buddy. Like it's.
Can we talk about the fact that there are sunrises in the Hollow Earth? Where does the light come from?
Well, this is where the naysayers be like, well, that's where the magma is, okay, smart ass. That's the magma, okay, and it's a magma sunrise. A maga sunrise. I mean magma.
They'd say, oh, it's a flat earth and a hollow earth. You're just seeing the sunlight coming through the hole.
Yeah. Duh,
the sunlight went through the hole.
You stupid ass bitch. Tell me how the sun works.
The only two acronyms I know about are WWE and NRA.
WWE. Well, this made a good bit of money, so expect to see more of them, Dustin.
Yay! When do you go after a new empire?
A newer empire.
There you go.
The next empire.
It'll be Godzilla X Kong X Mothra?
Machina.
Ex Machina.
They're going to fight
Godzilla X Kong X Men?
Oh, yeah. X Men. Yeah. Yeah. Godzilla X Kong X Factor.
Yeah, there you go.
They go on a talent show. Yeah.
There you go.
It's like, I don't like you and you don't like me, but we got eliminated in the individual rounds, but we have a chance to team up and go in the team rounds. And so it's Godzilla breakdancing.
I just say it's Godzilla doing a talking head confessional. Subtitles at the bottom.
I just want to be a star. God, this sucks. All right. That's it. That's it for that one. I'm going to end it.
Godzilla X Kong. It's
excommunicates.
It's not worth your time.
They do something to offend the church and they get excommunicated.
Excommunicated, yeah. Godzilla X Kong, the new empire of the Planet of the Apes.
Godzilla X Kong X. That's where they buy Twitter.
Elon Musk, a giant kaiju Elon Musk.
He's just a giant blob man. He's like a big old hut.
Yes.
The advertisers.
Kaiju Musk.
He just sits in front of that Hollow Earth sun. No more sunrise for you.
Muska Godzilla. Muska.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. The advertisers.